I'm back! Good morning, my beautiful merfolk. It is I, Mercedes Mermaid, your merclan goddess. So, dramatics aside, hi, how are you? I did prepare a script for my coming back video, so if my eyes are all over the place, bear with me. I've had Adderall today, and I don't know what this energy is, so I'm a little bit crazy. But anyways, I never intended to disappear. Um, and I definitely didn't intend to disappear for so long. So, but life happens. I'm gonna be cutting out so many so's. I keep saying so. The kids are gonna be going back to school by the time this video goes out. Kiara will at least be in school. Kieran might still be at home with me. I'm gonna kind of go into a little bit of what's going on if y'all don't mind. Kieran was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. That's my little autistic boy. He's so handsome and he's a little fish. But so he was diagnosed with ASD. Yeah, you stink. Did you poop again? Did you poop again? Mwah. I love you too. I'm back. So Kieran got diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in May, and we kind of went about it in, I guess, the roundabout way. We went about it the way that we were referred to by our doctors. But I guess like typically the first step is to have him evaluated with like our county, and then where we went to get him evaluated. But I'm glad that we went the route that we did because he was also referred for speech therapy during the time of the pandy of the big C-19. And we never heard back. I did call to try to follow up, and they were like very behind. They assured me someone would get back to me right away, which just was not the case. He was doing speech therapy online, but it was once a week for 30 minutes. I don't really think it was like that impactful for us. So it would have just definitely been a lot easier to have someone working with him one on one in person. But the online was fine for at that time. I think I needed something flexible, and also I was struggling with my mental health at that time, so it was kind of hard to do all these things. But so we did get him diagnosed, and they kind of put pressure on the county. So he got evaluated with a speech therapist with the county, and then he was evaluated for special education to see if he would qualify for special education. And I did get to see the results. He looks like he qualifies to me, and I didn't have any doubt. um, he's very smart. He just obviously has some delays, and he needs that extra help. So hopefully we're going to get him that extra help. Kiara will be in school for a week before I know anything about his schooling, which kind of sucks, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that he will be in school soon and in their special education department, and like really that we will be getting the help that we need for him. With the kids home, life has just been like wild. It was hard to like get the time to record videos. I'm recording while they're home right now, but Kiara's gonna be starting school next week. I've recorded like a couple videos here and there, very few, and I haven't even finished editing one video. It's just been it is what it is, and I feel like I haven't even like done enough with the kids, and summer's already almost over. It just really flew by. But with them back in school, I'm going to be recording more videos, hopefully editing more videos, but I'm also going to be like taking that time to focus on my schooling. So I'm taking a course in data analytics, and that's going to be like my main focus while the kids are back at school. Is trying to finish up that course and then looking for a job so that we can have an additional income. And there are things that my husband and I would like to do in the future, and that requires me to work so that we can do those things and reach those goals that we have for the future. So while I am going to be putting most of my focus on my course and getting a job, I am still going to be creating content here on YouTube. My goal is to just kind of create some like bite-sized content that's like easy to digest and will be the perfect little snack to hopefully keep you coming back for more. My goal is to release one, maybe two videos a week here on the tube. I plan on keeping YouTube very part-time so I can blaze through my coursework and get a full-time job. So, what kind of content can you expect? Well, so a long time ago, my bestie and I created this podcast called Unusual Universe. And it's still up on Spotify and should be available just about anywhere that you listen to podcasts. So feel free to go ahead and listen to our old episodes. I'm biased, but I like it. So anyway, it was a paranormal podcast where we would research a topic each week and share it with the audience. So Sam would research a topic and I would research one, and we would both, one of us would go first, talk about our topic, any stories we have related to that topic. It was just a lot of fun. And life kind of got in the way, and everything kind of just fell to the wayside. But I could never let go of the podcast or the desire to talk about the unusual and the unexplainable. That's kind of like what's kept me coming back to content creation, is because I was just constantly trying to like fill the void with so many different things that I was finally like, you know what? Just do the thing that you really want to do. So all that to say, I'm going to be sharing scary stories, true scary stories here on this channel on YouTube. So I've been scouring the internet, mostly Reddit, for first-person accounts, but if you have any stories that you'd like to share, details on how to do that will be below, but mostly you can just email. I'm going to use our old podcast email for this, because I also want to keep it open in case that, one day we do pick the podcast back up. I feel like this would be an easy way to transition back into the podcast. But so you can email any true scary stories that you have, to unusualuniversepod@gmail. And in the kind of stories that I'm looking for, it really can be like anything creepy, but ghosts, paranormal, unexplainable happenings. You can also listen to, dude, go listen to some of our podcast episodes. We had a mini-sode that turned out to not be a mini-sode, but we're so excited that we did have some stories from our listeners. We were so excited about it, so we shared them all. And then we also did a episode where we just read some stories off of Reddit. So feel free to go listen to those, if you kind of want to get an idea for like the stories that we like to share, but I mean really anything. So in addition to true scary stories, I'm still going to cover anti-MLMs and scams, because MLMs and scams are scary. Um, I mean, honestly. I've decided, however, I'll be doing less of covering specific MLMs or people, and we're going to do a more like general approach, looking into like the anti-MLM subreddit, maybe some top fails, and someday I'd like to do MLM horror stories, which I've always wanted to do MLM horror stories. So far, all I've like really recorded are react videos to like the anti-MLM subreddit. I do have like a couple things that I still want to cover, updates. I have some scam videos I want to record and things like that. So there will be some videos where we do like kind of dive deeper into certain topics, certain MLMs and scams. But for the most part, what you're typically going to see from me are the react to Reddit posts and the true scary stories. And then finally, I'll probably do some gaming, because why not? I'm going to try to keep most of my gaming on my Twitch, but I'm going to share some stuff on here too, probably. Gaming videos just don't seem to do as well on YouTube, but I do have some like creepy ones that I like to do, maybe some creepy Roblox. There is like a creepy Pokemon fan-made game I would like to react to, so we'll probably do some of that as well. It just won't be as often as the other videos. I guess that's mostly it. I just didn't want to confuse the YouTube algorithm too much, but I will be using a second channel to post additional content that I just don't think fits for me to do on this channel. So on my second channel, I will be doing book reviews. Um, for the most part, my book reviews are going to be indie, like self-published, small publishing company books. And I'm only really going to review books that I enjoy. So 3-star or above. If I would rate it anything less than a 3-star, I'm not going to review it on my channel. Um, for a number of reasons. One, I am also an author, and we are very sensitive, um, especially to criticism and to people not liking our our works. And I don't feel the need to like call out a self-published book that isn't that great. Like maybe I'd leave a review online so that other people know not to buy it, but I don't want to give it the space where I might be really dragging on a book, and then I don't want other people to go and do the same thing just for the sake of it. So I'm really going to only share books that I enjoy. And like I said, mostly indie, and that is because I myself am an indie author, and I feel that it's very hard for indie authors to get like media attention or like interaction for their books because they're indie, they're doing it all themselves, and not everyone has the money to do like all these like book tours or like whatever. So I'm going to be doing stuff like that. And speaking of like indie authors, I'd like to do some videos to kind of help indie authors. So like we might have like a video session on like creating your own book cover and like how to like format it and like stuff like that and like doing it like super simple in Canva. I've created like a couple just to see if I could do it, um, so that I would know if I could show that to others as well. And maybe just like kind of going into like Fiverr and like your different options for like book editing and stuff like that, because I think it's extremely important to have a well edited book, especially if you are indie. I think it's a common trope that indie books are poorly edited, and so it's very frustrating myself as an author and as an indie author to see other indie authors and other indie books fall into this trope. It's just like, ugh, in the heart. My grandpa recently said that my book needed editing, and I was like, excuse you, I had it edited. So like now I'm worried. I'm like, was that an old copy he had? Or like, do I need to go back through my book? So concerned. I'm also lazy. I don't know when I'd actually get to do that. So in addition to indie, don't touch my stuff with your chocolate fingers. In addition to my indie book reviews, we're going to do webcomic reviews and recommendations because I am currently obsessed with webcomics. I've been reading them every day, so I'm constantly digesting webcomics all the time, literally every day. New ones almost every day. So we're going to go over those. We're going to like I have like a bunch of different topics to like list them under, like categories to list them under. We're going to have lots of fun with that. Rude. Boy, this child is trying to get me. And then we will be reading my own book and novella with commentary for free on the channel. So as I said, I am also an indie author, and I have written and published a book and a novella. Yes, I have more books that should be coming soon. They're just waiting for me to pull the trigger on them because it's going to be on the cusp of fall when they start actually getting these videos out. I'm thinking for when I do read my own work and like add my commentary, we'll probably start with my novella, which is December Snow, and it's available on Amazon. It's nice and short, and I think it'll be great going into winter as it is called December Snow. I think it's a fun book to read during the winter months. So we'll probably do that first, and then we'll get into What It Took, which is the first book that I've ever written, like to completion. Um, it kind of is a combination of a lot of different ideas that I had. It is a little bit out there. I will be the first to say that it is not for everybody. It is a young adult fantasy. Again, not for everybody, which is totally fine. But I'm going to ask if you have very negative feelings about any of my books that we maybe keep it to ourselves because I don't know if I could handle it. I'm being honest, and it's pretty vulnerable for me to like read and share in such like a public way. But I kind of wanted to make my works a little bit more available because I've done them so long ago. It's less about making money for me now than just just sharing something that I worked really hard on with other people who hopefully might enjoy it. So that's that. And I guess that just leaves Instagram and TikTok. So mostly on Instagram and TikTok, I'll be sharing lifestyle, maybe a little bit of fashion, and like a little nibble of the stuff that I share here on YouTube from both channels. So it's kind of going to be like a little bit of everything. On Instagram and TikTok, I feel like those are places that are easier to kind of uh, shape shift, if you will. So yeah, I think that covers everything. I need to get my son out of my office before he breaks one of my lights and sets a fire in here. So love this. Love this for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you enjoy the content that I've been working so hard on to make for you. Please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Drop your comments below. Let me know, what content you're most looking forward to. And I will see you in my next video real soon. Bye.